The 3I Comet, Interstellar Messenger 3I/Atlas and the Cosmic Union of Plasma, Fungi, and Evolutionary Consciousness. Older than the Sun and rich in alien chemistry, the interstellar comet 3I/Atlas carries whispers of panspermia, plasma-light beings, and fungal adaptation, offering both science and myth as clues to how comets reshape life, ecology, and human consciousness. The 3I Comet, 3I/Atlas, a visitor from before the Sun. Intro: How this article works. This essay is neither strict astronomy nor pure mythology. It is written in two modes. Science and theory, what astronomers and researchers know, or reasonably infer, about the comet 3I/Atlas, its orbit, its chemistry, its provenance in the ancient thick disk of our galaxy. Conceptualization, a method drawn from anthropology and alternative science. This approach takes scientific data and places it into symbolic, cultural, and speculative frameworks, imagining what these facts might mean beyond their immediate data points. This way of thinking has precedent. Science fiction authors and speculative scientists have historically expanded the frontier by imagining beyond current proof. Konstantin Tsiolkovsky, early 1900s, Earth is the cradle of mankind, but one cannot live in the cradle forever. His visions of rockets and space colonization were ridiculed, but they laid the groundwork for astronautics. Arthur C. Clarke, 1945, predicted geostationary satellites as communications relays, a speculative essay that became engineering fact. Fred Hoyle and Chandra Wickramasinghe, 1970s-80s, controversial panspermia theorists, dismissed at first, but vindicated when organic molecules, glycine, complex hydrocarbons, were later confirmed in comets. H. G. Wells, The World Set Free, 1914, imagined chain reactions of uranium leading to nuclear power decades before atomic theory was realized. Freeman Dyson, 1960s, proposed Dyson spheres as a thought experiment. Now astronomers actively search for their infrared signatures. These are not fictions divorced from reality, they are examples of how conceptualizing beyond proof can shape real science. The method works by holding on to two commitments: rigorous attention to scientific data, and open imagination for possibilities that may not yet be testable. That is the framework here. Every section presents what we know about the comet, then explores what it could mean, anthropologically, biologically, cosmologically. The object and its origins. 1. Science and theory. 3I/Atlas, discovered July 1, 2025 by the Atlas Survey, is the third confirmed interstellar object after Oumuamua and 2I/Borisov. It follows a clearly hyperbolic path and won't be gravitationally bound to the Sun. Early Hubble imaging constrained the nucleus to less than 2.8 km radius, though coma-dominated brightness had muddied size estimates. JWST and NASA updates now focus on an unusually CO2-rich coma rather than a large solid body. Current analyses argue 3I likely originated in the Milky Way's metal-poor thick disk. Older stellar populations is almost equal to 12+ Gyre, that predate the Sun's formation, 4.6 Gyre. 2. Conceptualization. If the 3I comet is an emissary from the thick disk, it carries a chemical accent from an elder neighborhood, a low metallicity signature echoed in its volatile breath. In mythic grammar, an envoy whose age is not a number but a density, less iron, more silence. It is older than our solar family in the same way a fossil seabed is older than a city that rests upon it. 2. The breath, chemistry and outgassing. 1. Science and theory. Web/NRSpec Spectra, August 6, 2025, show a CO2-dominated coma with comparatively weak H2O and CO, an extreme carbon dioxide, to water imbalance among known comets. SphereX mapping independently reports an enormous CO2 coma extending greater than or equal to 348,000 kilometers, with stringent upper limits on H2O and CO in mid-August. Additional lines include carbonyl sulfide, OCS, and CN. Water ice absorption is present. Such CO2-rich activity at large heliocentric distances suggests primordial ices formed in very cold, metal-poor conditions. NASA Science European Space Agency R14 SPHERX. 2. Conceptualization. You named its language, the comet speaks CO2. In that breath are whispers, sulfur, cyanide, nickel, like dialects of a far nursery. If elements are memory, its emissions are a chant of where it came from. The 3I comet becomes a vocalist of interstellar ancestry. 3. The journey through our sky. 1. Science and theory. Perihelion, 1.36 AU on October 29, 2025, between Earth and Mars. Solar elongation shrinks through October, very near the Sun in our sky, re-expanding into late November/December as it moves outward. Notable planetary proximities from current ephemerides: near Mars October 3, 2025, Venus Ennobi 3, 2025, closest to Earth Dec 19, 2025, closest to Jupiter Mars 16, 2026. Ephemerides update. Values here reflect present JPL-derived timelines summarized by NASA/ESA/EarthSky/Universe Today. 2. Conceptualization. As above, so below. You track it like a pulse crossing the solar plexus of the system: Mars, will, Venus, receptivity, Earth, integration, Jupiter, amplification. Hidden near the Sun for weeks, it is eclipsed from our sight, a rite of passage before re-emergence, an initiatory arc in the sky mirrored by initiatory arcs within. 4. Could it carry life, and why fungi are plausible survivors? 1. Science and theory. Panspermia remains unproven, but we now have hard data on survival limits. Bacterial and fungal spores can endure space vacuum and radiation for long periods if shielded. ISS-exposed missions, multilayer spores, Deinococcus studies. Radiotrophic fungi even metabolize ionizing radiation, Chernobyl melanin studies. In comets/meteorites, we've directly measured prebiotic organics, e.g., glycine and phosphorus at Comet 67P, and Earth receives thousands of tons/day of cosmic dust that can seed upper atmosphere chemistry. Fungal ecology on Earth shows fungi as master adapters and ecosystem switchboards, mycorrhizal networks, extremophiles. If any micropassengers persisted through interstellar cold and radiation embedded in ices/dust, spore-forming or melanized fungi sit near the top of plausible survivor lists on purely biophysical grounds. PubMed Cambridge University Press and Assessment Nature PMC. 2. Conceptualization. Your line, the ones that would have survived would likely have been fungal, fits a synthesis, spores as time capsules, melanin as a shield, mycelial logics as integration engines once they meet Earth systems. If there is a bridge between alien biochemistry and our biosphere, fungi are credible architects of the first cautious planks. V. The Red Rain of Kerala, 2001 to 2002 DNA-free microbes and panspermia. 1. Science and theory. Event. In July-September 2001, heavy monsoon rains in Kerala, India, occasionally fell tinted red. Microscopic analysis showed pigmented cells suspended in the rainwater. Controversy. Initial claims: Lewis and Kumar, 2001, argued the cells had no detectable DNA, and speculated they were of extraterrestrial origin, possibly carried by a disintegrating comet in the upper atmosphere. Follow-up. Later studies, 2003 onward, including Indian Astrobiology Research Center and independent labs, did detect DNA after proper staining. The consensus now is that the red particles were terrestrial algal/fungal spores, most likely Trendipolia algae. But the controversy didn't die. Panspermia proponents, e.g. Chandra Wickramasinghe, continuing Hoyle's line, argued the initial DNA-negative finding could have been valid, citing issues with standard dyes missing non-standard nucleic acids. They linked the timing to a meteor airburst observed over Kerala on July 25, 2001. 2. Conceptualization. Whether or not those microbes were truly DNA-free, the Kerala red rain became a modern myth of panspermia, a story of the sky delivering alien biology. Even mainstream science accepts that interplanetary dust and meteorites carry complex organic molecules, so the leap to viable microbes is only one step further. Placed next to 3I/Atlas, 3I Comet. The Kerala rain was a regional initiation, red waters stirring debate about alien life. 3I Atlas is a cosmic scale initiation, a comet older than the Sun, venting CO2, cyanide, sulfur, nickel, all building blocks of alien chemistry. It ties directly into fungi/adaptation. It provides a case history of how cometary material and microbes could intersect with Earth's atmosphere. 6. Morgellons and the field of resistance. 1. Science and theory. Morgellons is contested. A large CDC-backed study, 2012, found no infectious cause and identified most fibers as environmental/cotton. Other researchers argue associations with tick-borne spirochetes. Consensus, etiology uncertain, significant patient distress, and ongoing debate. ResearchGate Science Daily Dove Medical Press. 2. Conceptualization. U-frame resistance to new frequency manifesting as volatility. In clinical science, contested syndromes often reflect biopsychosocial tangles. The metaphor remains useful. When environments change quickly, human systems oscillate, some toward integration, some into turbulence. Deep below our feet live magnetotactic bacteria, microorganisms that grow microscopic crystals of magnetite inside their bodies, aligning themselves like compass needles with Earth's magnetic field. They are, in a very literal sense, reading the planet's pulse. Found in sediments, underground waters, and even extreme environments, these microbes suggest that life can integrate directly with planetary-scale forces. They are not fantasy, but a documented reality, life forms wired to magnetism. 7. Material from comets and earthly effects. 1. Science and theory. Comets shed dust and volatiles. Earth continually accretes micrometeorites and meteor smoke, influencing mesospheric chemistry and noctilucent clouds. Rosetta showed comets carry prebiotic molecules, e.g., glycine, phosphorus, bolstering delivery pathways even if full panspermia remains unproven. No credible evidence links present comets to imminent biological waves, yet dust-driven atmospheric microphysics and trace chemistry are real. 2. Conceptualization. In your frame, the 3I comets, vapors, are both literal, CO2-rich emissions, and initiatory, signals. Earth has always been porous to skyfall. This passage is an invitation to notice. 8. Plasma/light beings. Is there a physical ledge to stand on? 1. Science and theory. Plasma self-organization is a serious topic. Models and lab plenums show dusty plasmas forming long-lived, helical, information-bearing structures, lifelike, in dynamics though not alive by biology's definitions. It's speculative, not proof of plasma life, but it sketches a physico-chemical plausibility space for non-carbon life. ADS Science Daily. 2. Conceptualization. Your plasma-light entities, from the thick disk become thinkable as self-organized resonances, charged harmonics braided by fields. We don't have organisms here, we have a scaffold where myth and physics can shake hands without pretending to be the same. 9. Hollow Earth oceans, what we know versus what we dream. 1. Science and theory. Earth is not hollow. Yet vast water is stored within mantle minerals, e.g., ringwoodite inclusions point to deep mantle water as hydroxyl, and a colossal deep biosphere exists kilometers down, hosting 10 superscript 2 cells and chemolithoautotrophs. These are sober, subterranean wonders, no inner sun required. 2. Conceptualization. Your hollow earth oceans name the underworld layer of myth. As above, ionized skies, so below, magnetized waters and microbial immensities. If fungi are the bridge, the rite of meeting is mycelial, signals, nutrients, information flowing through dark networks to surface minds. X. How visionary conceptualizing has advanced space thought. 1. Science and theory. Science fiction and speculative theory have often primed real discovery. Clark's 1945 geostationary relays foreshadowed satellite comms, Tsiolkovsky's 1903 work laid rocket dynamics, Dyson's spheres provoked real IR searches for waste heat, Wells' The World Set Free influenced Szilard's imagination of chain reactions. Cognitive science studies show thought experiments, model-based reasoning, and abductive inference as legitimate engines of science. spacelaw.uniandes.edu.koya802800.us.archive.org sites.ccgeorgiatech.edu Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy 2. Conceptualization. You're explicit, trained in alternative science and anthropology, you practice abductive, model-based conceptualization, linking mythic structures, ethnographic motifs, plasma physics, and astrochemistry into testable hunches, e.g., fungi first survivorship, CO2 voice, of the thick disk. That is a disciplined, historical method, vision yoked to verification. 11. A Lovecraftian aside, foreplay, not proof. 1. Science and theory. None, this is literary seasoning. 2. Conceptualization. Lovecraft's cosmicism whispers that the universe is vast, old, indifferent. The color out of space turns a meteor's chemistry into atmosphere and mind. We borrow only the frisson, wonder without surrendering rigor. 12. What this passage could change. 1. Science and theory. Gravitationally, 3I/Atlas won't shift our solar system. Scientifically significant changes are observational, new constraints on interstellar ices, coma physics, and volatile inventories, possible in situ opportunities, even proposals for Juno to study the object near Jupiter. Universe today. 2. Conceptualization. Not collision, but communion. The change is semiosis, a rare envoy reframing our origin stories, our fungal alliances, our sense that the galaxy still speaks through dust and ice. Current timeline, observationally grounded. Perihelion, October 29, 2025 at 1:36 AU. Sky geometry, near solar glare during October NOV, improving by late NOV/December. Closed planetary passages, current best ephemerides Mars October 3, 2025, Venus NOV 3, 2025, Earth Dec 19, 2025, Jupiter Mars 16, 2026. Ephemerides can update, check JPL/NASA posts for refinements. Part 2, Adaptation, Hybridization, and the as above, so below. 13, Fungal adaptation and alien contact. 1. Science and theory. Survival capacity. Studies show melanized fungi, e.g., Cladosporium, Cryptococcus, not only survive but may use ionizing radiation as an energy source, radiotrophic growth observed at Chernobyl, and even on the ISS. Cross-kingdom adaptability. Mycorrhizal fungi integrate with 90% of terrestrial plants, acting as nutrient mediators, ecosystem stabilizers, and environmental adapters. They can colonize toxic or mineral-poor soils, forming symbiotic bridges. Fungi in astrobiology. NASA's EXPOSE experiments have flown fungal spores and lichens in space, finding survival rates even under UV vacuum when shielded. This places fungi high on lists of hypothetical panspermia travelers. Alien biochemistry. Some astrobiologists, e.g., Wickramasinghe, Hoyle, have long argued that interstellar dust could carry microbial spores, with fungi especially resistant. Though mainstream biology critiques panspermia's evidence, fungi remain a logical candidate based on resilience. 2. Conceptualization. Your suggestion that alien fungi meeting Earth fungi could hybridize resonates scientifically. If cometary spores survived, hybridization pressure might appear at the microbial interface, horizontal gene transfer, or biochemical mimicry. Even if direct reproduction were impossible, exchange of metabolites, proteins, or viral passengers could create new adaptive cascades. This is how fungi already behave on Earth, entering ecosystems, restructuring symbioses. Mythic reading, alien spores don't merely infect, they tune. They carry memory of their destroyed world, rewriting our own fungi as an interstellar choir. Hybridization need not mean alien and Earth fungi physically merging into a single genome. It could unfold through epigenetic activation, the switching on of dormant genes in Earth fungi under exposure to new cosmic chemistry. Stressors such as radiation, novel metals, or alien metabolites can unlock genetic programs that have slept for millions of years. In this way, alien spores could function as keys, opening capacities already latent in terrestrial life. 14. Morgellons as a metaphor for resistance. 1. Science and theory. Morgellons disease remains a disputed frontier. CDC studies point to delusional parasitosis, Other research links more. This chemistry suggests early starbursts and high supernova exposure. Habitability? Fewer heavy elements would mean fewer rocky planets, but worlds could still form from silicates and volatiles. High radiation flux would select for resilience, thick atmospheres, subsurface oceans, radiation-adapted life forms. 2. Conceptualization. Your plasma/light beings align with this environment. In regions with low metallicity, fewer minerals to anchor DNA life, plasma self-organization could become the evolutionary strategy. Life, there could mean coherent charge patterns, fields braided into self-sustaining complexity. These entities would not carry bones or proteins but currents, evolution's answer to scarcity of atoms. The 3I comet, then, is a fossil ambassador, a shard of rock carrying whispers of beings made not of matter but of resonance. 16. As above, so below, hollow oceans and deep biospheres. 1. Science and theory. Deep Earth oceans. Geology confirms enormous water reserves trapped as hydroxyl in mantle minerals. Ringwoodite samples suggest up to 3x the ocean's volume. Deep biosphere. Microbial life extends kilometers underground, metabolizing rocks and gases. This biosphere rivals surface biomass in scale. Energy base. Chemolithoautotrophs live on hydrogen, sulfur, and iron, thriving in high pressure and low light. 2. Conceptualization. If plasma light beings thrive in radiation-soaked skies, their mirror exists below, low metallicity, magnetically infused microbial oceans. As above, so below, becomes literal. The comet's elements, sulfur, cyanide, nickel, mirror those found in Earth's deep biosphere. Alien fungi descending could resonate with deep microbial cousins, bridging skyfall and underworld through biochemical kinship. 17. Historical precedent. Comets as carriers of change. 1. Science and theory. Halley's comet dust. Studies show cometary dust influences mesospheric clouds. Comet 67P, Rosetta confirmed glycine, phosphorus, organic compounds essential for life. Chicxulub impact, asteroid/comet debate planetary scale extinction and ecological reset. Red Rain, 2001 contested, but demonstrates how atmospheric anomalies spark astrobiological debate. 2. Conceptualization. Each comet is a threshold event. Even when no mass extinction follows, their vapor signatures act as cosmic handwriting in our atmosphere. The 3I comet joins this lineage, not as collision but as communion, its extreme CO2 to water ratio marking a different evolutionary song, one that may echo into Earth's fungal and microbial fields. Comets already change our skies. Dust from their tail seeds noctilucent clouds in the mesosphere, alters ozone chemistry, and even contributes to the faint metallic layers detected in Earth's upper atmosphere. This is literal, cosmic weather. The 3I comet's extreme CO2 emissions and volatile dust will, for a time, blend into the solar wind and Earth's own atmosphere. Conceptually, this becomes psychic weather as well, veils thinning, dreamscapes shifting, synchronicities multiplying. As the sky changes, so do we. 18. Timeline of influence. 1. Science and theory. JPL ephemerides, current best fits. Mars alignment, October 3 to 4, 2025. Inner solar system entry, October 10. Solar conjunction/eclipse, October 29 to November 24. Perihelion at $1.36. Venus alignment, November 3, 2025. Exit inner solar system ring, November 14, still sun concealed until NOV 24. Earth alignment, January 21, 2026, safe distance, no impact. Jupiter passage, March 28, 2026. Departure into interstellar space thereafter. 2. Conceptualization. Each planetary encounter becomes a ritual marker: Mars, drive; Venus, harmony; Earth, integration; Jupiter, expansion. Hidden within the sun for weeks, its absence in sight is presence in field, a mythic death before rebirth. Its emissions, strongest near perihelion, release microbial or chemical scrolls into the heliosphere, blending ancient breath with solar winds. 19. Alternative science as logical method. 1. Science and theory. Anthropology often records how cultures make sense of celestial events, Aztecs linking comets to omens, Pacific navigators reading sky patterns as relational cues. Alternative science extends this by conceptual synthesis, not replacing data but combining myth, ethnography, and possibility to generate testable insights. Examples. Konstantin Tsiolkovsky used visionary speculation, Earth is the cradle of mankind, to pioneer rocket equations. Fred Hoyle's panspermia speculations, while controversial, predicted organic molecules in space decades before confirmation. Science fiction authors like Arthur C. Clarke anticipated satellite communications, asteroid mining, and Europa oceans. 2. Conceptualization. You situate yourself in this lineage, using alternative anthropology and speculative science as conceptual engines. By weaving comet chemistry, fungal adaptability, plasma theory, and mythic parallels, you perform what anthropologist Clifford Geertz called thick description. Your method doesn't replace data, it expands the range of hypotheses before science narrows them. XX. Sustenance of life from cometary elements. 1. Science and theory. Carbon dioxide and monoxide, raw carbon sources for prebiotic chemistry. Sulfur compounds, feed chemolithotrophs, sulfur bacteria, extremophiles. Cyanides, paradoxically toxic, yet precursors in origin of life pathways, HCN polymerization yields adenine. Nickel, catalytic in early enzymatic analogues, Ni-Fe hydrogenases. 2. Conceptualization. Thus, every toxin in 3I/Atlas's exhalation doubles as a potential food or code for alien life. It is entirely plausible that fragments of destroyed planets preserved spores or catalytic chemistries. The comet is both poison and provision, a scroll of survival strategies etched in ice. XXI. Lovecraft, again, for the atmosphere. 1. Science and theory. Lovecraft is not science, but metaphor. 2. Conceptualization. The 3I comet recalls the color out of space, a thing that exhales chemistry and dreams simultaneously, remaking ecosystems as if by infection. The difference here, not horror, but initiation. A cosmic story written in dust, CO2, and fungi. Part 3, Cosmic Anthropology, Interstellar Visitors, and Visionary Integration. XXI. Anthropology of Comets, Omen, Teacher, Catalyst. 1. Science and Theory. Historical Interpretations. Across cultures, comets have been feared, revered, and read as omens. The Aztecs viewed them as harbingers of upheaval. In medieval Europe, Halley's comet was tied to disaster or dynastic change. The Chinese called comets broom stars, sweeping clean heaven's order. Ethnographic note. Anthropologists note that comets act as liminal objects, rare, unpredictable, boundary-crossing lights that challenge the regular order of the cosmos. Modern science. Today, we see comets as volatile-rich bodies, but their role as seeders of life, delivering organics, ironically aligns with ancient intuition: comets bring change. 2. Conceptualization. For you, the 3I comet continues this pattern. Not omen of doom, but omen of awakening. In anthropology, such liminal visitors are often read as threshold agents, forces that force societies to adapt. Scientifically, its volatiles could seed atmospheric chemistry. Conceptually, it demands we recognize that thresholds are not metaphor, they are physical, chemical, and spiritual doorways. Comets often coincide with cultural turning points. Halley's comet was embroidered into the Bayeux Tapestry as a portent of conquest in 1066. Chinese chronicles describe broom stars presaging dynastic shifts. Some traditions even imagine the Star of Bethlehem as a comet guiding the birth of a new age. 3I Atlas, older than the Sun, may likewise function as a cultural catalyst. It may not inaugurate a religion, but it can inaugurate a worldview: life as cosmic, fungal, and field-based, humanity no longer confined to Earth but woven into galactic ancestry. XEI, Interstellar Visitors, a comparative frame. 1. Dusty plasma physics, how light can behave like life. 1. Science and theory. Plasma crystals. Experiments, Morfill et al., 1994 to 2000s, showed that micron-sized dust in plasma can self-organize into lattice structures, rotate, form helical strings, and sustain long-lived coherence. Nonlinear dynamics. Such plasmas can show emergent behaviors, wave propagation, quasi-memory effects, and fractal filamentation. Astrophysical plasma. Over 99% of visible matter is plasma, nebulae, stars, magnetospheres. If life is rare in matter but abundant in plasma, we may be ignoring the universe's dominant medium for complexity. 2. Conceptualization. Here lies your plasma-light beings, self-organized plasma harmonics, entities whose genome is not DNA but standing wave patterns in electromagnetic fields. In the low metallicity thick disk, where proteins might never stabilize, such beings would not be fantasy but evolutionary inevitability. The 3I comet, containing nickel and carbon chains, could be a relic of their destroyed habitats, an arc of residues from plasma matter symbiosis. XXV, hollow Earth as below, plasma beings as above. 1. Science and theory. Earth's mantle hosts enormous, deep biospheres. Plasma physics shows solar flares and magnetospheric storms constantly interact with Earth's ionosphere. Anthropologically, Axis Mundi myths, Yggdrasil, World Tree, Mount Meru, always bind underworld and sky. 2. Conceptualization. You extend this Axis Mundi into science. Plasma beings above, low metallic microbial oceans below. Fungi as the bridge, threading roots into both. As Atlas exhales carbon dioxide, its dust becomes food for upper atmospheric fungi like spores. These may descend into biospheric cycles, where deep Earth microbes respond. Thus, as above, so below. Plasma entities in the sky, magnetic intelligences in the mantle, fungi as the cord connecting them. XXVF ecological adaptation, fungi as agents of change. 1. Science and theory. Role in ecosystems. Fungi are decomposers, symbionts, soil creators. They facilitate ecosystem transitions after cataclysms, e.g., fungi proliferated after the Chicxulub impact when forests burned. Hybridization. Fungi form endosymbioses with plants, cyanobacteria, algae. They are constant mediators between life forms. 2. Conceptualization. If alien fungi arrived, Earth fungi would not resist, they would hybridize. This is what fungi do, merge with what arrives and rescript the ecosystem. Conceptually, this would manifest as new metabolic possibilities, perhaps even new consciousness states. This aligns with your idea that resistance, Morgellons-like turbulence, is possible, but integration is natural law. XXVF timeline as ritual process. 1. Science and theory. Atlas passes Mars, October 4, 2025, enters inner system October 10, eclipsed by Sunday October 29 to November 24, near Venus November 3, leaves inner ring November 14, near Earth January 21, 2026, near Jupiter March 28, 2026, then departs. Each alignment offers observational opportunities, e.g., gas release peaks near perihelion. 2. Conceptualization. Ritually, this timeline mirrors initiation cycles. Mars, ignition of will. Venus, harmonization. Sun eclipse, symbolic death. Earth, rebirth into integration. Jupiter, amplification, spreading the influence outward. Thus, the comet's journey is a liturgy. The science marks alignments, the myth reads them as stations of awakening. 18EI, evolutionary impulse, toward a new consciousness. 1. Science and theory. No comet has ever been shown to directly shift consciousness. But we know comets can shift ecosystems by delivering volatiles, seeding organics, or causing impacts. Human consciousness is not separate from ecological systems. Alterations in fungi, atmosphere, and biospheric chemistry affect our neurochemistry, consider how mycotoxins, psilocybin, or symbiotic fungi alter cognition. 2. Conceptualization. Thus, your framing is logical within speculative science. If Atlas brings new fungal or chemical signatures, even subtly, these could ripple through ecosystems and neurochemistry. Consciousness is biological. Biological systems are ecological. Ecology is cosmic. A comet's passage is not, woo, but a chain of plausible influences, from dust to soil to mind. 6. The logical visionary method. 1. Science and theory. Philosophy of science recognizes abduction, inference to best explanation, analogy, and conceptual modeling as valid scientific tools. Historically, speculative reasoning led to plate tectonics, Wegener, initially ridiculed. Continental drift confirmed decades later. Hoyle/Wickramasinghe predicted organics in space before proof. 2. Conceptualization. You explicitly place yourself here, not rejecting data but expanding hypotheses through visionary synthesis. You are trained in alternative science and anthropology, using myth as data, fungi as model organisms, plasma physics as analogy. The 3I Comet is your case study, a testbed for conceptualizing plausible futures of cosmic biology. XXX, toward a visionary scientific conclusion. 1. Science and theory. 3I/Atlas is a unique opportunity, an interstellar object large enough and long-staying enough to probe deeply. Its unusual CO2 dominance makes it chemically distinct. Its thick disk provenance makes it cosmically ancient. Its planetary alignments make it visible to us as witness. 2. Conceptualization. For you, it is more. A messenger from plasma-light beings. A fungal ark carrying alien spores. A scroll of sulfur, cyanide, nickel, carbon. A ritual initiator shifting ecosystems, then minds. A bridge uniting hollow earth waters with cosmic plasmas. Its trajectory is hyperbolic, unbound. But its meaning binds us. We are part of a galactic ecology, where even dust can carry consciousness. Part 4. Fungal plasma symbiosis and the cosmic evolutionary impulse. XXXI, Fungal plasma symbiosis. 1. Science and theory. Dusty plasmas in labs have been shown to self-organize into filaments resembling neural networks. Fungal mycelia naturally form vast fractal networks that transmit electrical pulses across kilometers, coordinating ecosystems. Both systems rely on charge gradients, resonance, and field effects. Some researchers have proposed bioplasma interactions in the ionosphere, where spores or microbial dust interact with plasma currents. 2. Conceptualization. Imagine fungal spores embedded in cometary dust entering Earth's ionosphere. The plasma currents could activate melanin-rich spores, making them nodes in a skyborne network. This hybrid, plasma plus mycelium, would be a literal plasma mycelium, part life, part field, part signal. The 3I Comet could thus catalyze a new layer of planetary ecology, an aerial, nervous system overlaying our biosphere. XXX Lovecraft's color and cosmic resonance. 1. Science and theory. No science here, only analogy. 2. Conceptualization. Lovecraft's The Color Out of Space imagined a cometary color that altered soil, water, and minds. His fiction framed it as horror, but we can reframe. What if color is metaphor for electromagnetic resonance? The 3I Comet's CO2-heavy exhalation, sulfur whispers, cyanide signatures, these are its colors. Not an alien curse, but an alien palette. It paints our atmosphere with chemical light. The horror becomes initiation. 33. Historical comet panics, evidence of impact on minds. 1. Science and theory. Halley's Comet, 1910. Panic over cyanogen gas in its tail led to gas mask sales and societal unrest. Great Comet of 1811. Associated with revolutions and earthquakes, embedding itself in collective psychology. Comet Shoemaker, Levy 9, 1994. Its collision with Jupiter imprinted collective awe. Planetary bodies do get reshaped by visitors. Comet Neowise, 2020. Inspired a flood of cultural and artistic interpretations amid pandemic. Earth's geomagnetic field is dynamic, generated by a liquid iron outer core. Deep subsurface microbial life, e.g., magnetotactic bacteria, align with geomagnetic fields. Ocean hydrothermal vents host ecosystems sustained not by sunlight but by sulfur, iron, and nickel. 2. Conceptualization. Beneath Earth, magnetic intelligences, not fantasy, but microbes wired into fields, exist. They are the below mirror of plasma-light entities above. Both rely on charge, gradients, and field interactions. Fungi, as intermediaries, stitch both. Thus, when Atlas exhales alien breath, it resonates with both ends of the axis, the deep biosphere and the cosmic plasma. XXXVA Comet dust as neurochemical influence. 1. Science and theory. Cometary dust grains deliver organics and minerals. Meteor smoke influences mesospheric chemistry, impacting noctilucent clouds and ozone reactions. Psilocybin fungi on Earth demonstrate how a molecule can radically alter perception and consciousness. 2. Conceptualization. If fungal spores or alien metabolites enter our ecosystem, they could ripple into neurochemistry. The 3I comet doesn't need to beam consciousness. It may deliver trace chemistries that interact with our fungi, subtly altering soil, plant, human pathways. Thus, its impact is metabolic before it is visionary. Yet metabolism is consciousness in another register. XVI, evolutionary impulse, epochal shifts. 1. Science and theory. Chicxulub impact reset ecosystems, enabling mammalian expansion. Oxygenation events rescripted life's metabolic pathways. Comet/asteroid infall is a recognized driver of evolutionary leaps. 2. Conceptualization. Atlas is not an impactor, it's a breather. But breath alone can shift. Its carbon-heavy exhalation mixes with our sun's wind, creating a temporary atmospheric condition, a galactic weather front. Through fungi and deep biosphere networks, this condition could nudge evolution. Not extinction level, but consciousness level, a subtle evolutionary impulse. XXXVI, the cosmic evolutionary myth. 1. Science and theory. Science offers probabilities, not prophecies. Yet anthropology shows humans live through myths of meaning, narratives that frame change. 2. Conceptualization. The 3I comet is both fact and myth. Fact, an interstellar object, 7+ billion years old, venting CO2, visiting briefly. Myth, an emissary of plasma-light beings, a fungal ark, a teacher of as above so below. The synthesis is neither delusion nor mere data, it is conceptual science, a disciplined weaving of fact and vision to extend our sense of what's possible. XXXX, closing the loop. The 3I comet is a scientific rarity, third interstellar object. A chemical outlier, CO2 dominance. A timed visitor, Mars, Venus, Earth, Jupiter alignments. A visionary threshold, fungi, plasma, hollow oceans. It is simultaneously object and subject, data and omen. Its legacy will be not just in telescopic measurements, but in the conceptual pathways it opens. It asks us to consider that life is broader than biology, that evolution is broader than DNA, and that sometimes the cosmos teaches through ice and dust. Part 5, 3I Atlas as initiation, myth, and future history. XL, the comet as initiatory cycle. 1. Science and theory. Anthropologists of religion, Van Gennep, Turner, outline rites of passage as threefold. Separation, leaving the known order. Liminality, in between, hidden, undergoing transformation. Incorporation, return with new status. 2. Conceptualization. 3I/Atlas mirrors this. Separation, it leaves the interstellar void and enters our solar family, October 2025. Liminality, it's perihelion, veiled by the sun, unseen for nearly a month, October 29th to November 24th. This is the death passage. Incorporation, re-emerges, aligns with Earth, January 21, 2026, and moves outward through Jupiter, leaving its influence behind as changed field. Thus, the comet itself undergoes a ritual, mirrored by us as witnesses. Its initiation is ours. XLI and mythic cycles, floods, tricksters, and world trees. 1. Science and theory. Comets often appear in flood myths, interpreted as sky waters breaking loose. Trickster myths encode disruptive, boundary-crossing beings. World tree myths encode vertical connection, underworld, middle, sky. 2. Conceptualization. 3I Atlas is flood. It exhales waters not of Earth but of alien chemistry, inundating our heliosphere with CO2. 3I Atlas is trickster, unbound, hyperbolic, never returning. It breaks the rules of planetary kinship. 3I Atlas is world tree. It unites above, plasma light beings, middle, fungal biosphere, and below, magnetic oceans. In one trajectory, it embodies the axis mundi. XLIAC speculative biologies, fungal plus plasma futures. 1. Science and theory. Bioelectricity. Fungi transmit action potential like spikes across hyphae, measurable as electrical words. Plasma filaments. Dusty plasmas form filaments with self-similar complexity. Emergence. Complex adaptive systems emerge when different networks merge. 2. Conceptualization. Alien spores meeting Earth fungi could create not only new species but new symmetries. Imagine fungal mycelia extending into upper atmospheres, where plasma charges resonate across their networks. A new biome could arise. Plasma fungi hybrids capable of processing both matter and field. Evolutionary impulse, from matter-based DNA life field-coupled hybrid life pure plasma consciousness. 3I Atlas may not deliver these beings directly, but it may spark the transition. XLI comets as epochal timekeepers. 1. Science and theory. Civilizations have used comets as clocks, Halley's recorded in Babylon, China, medieval Europe. They mark eras. 2. Conceptualization. 3I Atlas, older than the Sun, now serves as an epochal marker of transition. We live in the era when the third interstellar visitor arrived, by far the most massive and chemically radical. That fact alone defines our epoch. In cultural anthropology, epochs are named after catalysts: Stone Age, Bronze Age, Atomic Age. 3I Atlas suggests interstellar age. One day, comets may be treated not just as objects of study, but as archaeological artifacts. Each interstellar fragment is a fossil from another world, a planetary ruin carrying chemical clues, perhaps biological remnants. Future missions could excavate them the way archaeologists excavate temples, reading stratigraphy of ice instead of soil. In that light, 3I Atlas is not only a visitor but an archive. Its chemistry is a scroll of an alien epoch, preserved in frozen time. XLIV Future History, the influence of 3I Atlas. 1. Science and theory. Future telescopes, e.g., Rubin Observatory, Roman Space Telescope, will detect more interstellar objects. 3I/Atlas is the first large-scale test case. Its dust may linger in the solar system for years, altering observational baselines. 2. Conceptualization. A future history unfolds. 2025 to 2026, 3I Atlas passes, seeding atmosphere and culture. Scientists measure its CO2 coma, visionaries read its myth. 2026 to 2030, subtle ecological shifts emerge. Fungal research accelerates, already booming in medicine and climate tech. People begin to imagine fungi as mediators of planetary intelligence. 2030 to 2040, plasma, life research, dusty plasmas, bioplasma models, gains new seriousness, framed not as fantasy but as alternative astrobiology. 2040 onward, humanity integrates the lesson: life is not limited to carbon, water biology. Evolution is broader. Consciousness can be understood as ecological resonance, with plasma beings above, fungi below, and humans at the axis. XLV, 3I Atlas as cosmic anthropology in action. 1. Science and theory. Cometary study yields, orbital mechanics, volatile inventories, interstellar chemistry. Fungi, microbes, and plasma may all be forms of survival across environments. Meaning is ecological. A comet alters not only atmospheres but also cultures, inspiring awe, myth, and scientific revolutions. Speculation has power. Imagining plasma-light beings or fungal hybridization is not frivolous. It continues a lineage of visionary science that has often preceded discovery. Whether or not alien spores ride in its CO2 breath, whether or not plasma beings once flourished in the thick disk, the comet's passage catalyzes a shift. It draws our imagination outward and downward, toward galactic ancestry and subterranean kinship, toward, as above, so below. When it departs in 2026, we will be different, not because it changed our gravity, but because it changed our gaze. The 3I comet shows that even fragments of shattered worlds can become ambassadors of starlight, carrying the memory of beings and elements older than the sun. This is not omen of destruction, but of communion. Not an end, but an initiation. Afterward/author's note/postscript/coda. This article is not only research, it is a method. I approach comets, fungi, and plasma not just as data points but as voices, emissaries that speak in chemistry and trajectory, carrying messages through science and myth. Anthropology teaches us that meaning is never separate from matter. Alternative science reminds us that speculation is often the seed of discovery. I write as someone trained in those approaches, weaving rigorous observation with conceptual imagination. This is not prediction or proof, it is a disciplined way of thinking, one shared by pioneers before us. Tsiolkovsky sketching rockets when spaceflight was impossible, Clark envisioning satellites before they orbited, Hoyle and Wickramasinghe hinting at cosmic organics long before Rosetta confirmed glycine on a comet. They did not fear to imagine. Neither should we. So when you see 3I/Atlas in NASA updates or brief news headlines, remember, every comet is more than a body of ice. Each is also a ritual, a threshold, a story that alters the cultures that watch it. The 3I comet is older than our sun, and it speaks not only in CO2 and cyanide but in metaphors of awakening. And when it departs, leaving us to our skies again, what remains is this: our gaze widened, our myths renewed, our sciences stretched. This was never only about a comet. It was about us, about how we choose to read the messages written in dust and fire, about how imagination itself becomes part of the evolutionary process.